There lived a goldsmith named Rahman. He was not rich, but he was known far and wide for his honesty, kindness, and the hard work. People trusted him with their gold and jewelry because they knew Rahman would never cheat anyone. Rahman lived in a small mud house with his wife Sita and their two young children. Their life was simple. Every morning, Rahman would wake up before sunrise, say his prayers, and then to walk his small workshop near the river. The soft sound of the flowing water gave him a peace while he walked. Uh, though Rahman worked all day, he earned very little. Many times he, he could not buy new clothes or delicious food for his family. Still, he never complained. He always said, "If my heart is clean, God will always take care of us." A difficult life. One year, the village faced a trouble throughout. Crops failed, people become poor, and work was hard to find. Fewer customers came to the Rahman shop. Sometimes he returned home with empty hands. One night his clean slept. Hungry, Sita tired to hide her tears, but Rahman noticed his heart was heavy. I wish I could do more, Rahman said softly. Sita replied, "You are honest and hardworking. That is enough. God is watching us." Rahman nodded, but inside he was worried. His iron hammer, his most important tool, was old and big. Without it, he would not walk at all. The lost hammer. Once morning, Rahman went to the riverbank to wash his clothes before starting work. While cleaning his hammer, his hand splash. The hammer fell straight into the deeper river. Rahman was shocked. "Oh no, that hammer is only hope," he cried. He tried to look into the water, but the river was deep and fast. The hammer was gone forever. Rahman sat down and began to cry bitterly. Without the hammer, he had no work. Without work, his family would starve. The river fairly appeared. Suddenly, the water began to glow. A bright light rose from the river, and a beautiful river fairy appeared. Her voice was calm and gentle. "Why are you crying, Goldsmith?" she said. Raymond stood up, surprised but respectful. He told her everything trustfully about his poverty, his family, and his lost hammer. The fairy smiled and said, "Do not worry, I will help you." She disappeared into the river, the taste of honesty. After a few moments, the fairy became back holding a shining gold hammer. "Is this your hammer?" she asked. Rema looked at it with wide eyes. It was beautiful and valuable, but he shook his head. "No, my lady," he was honestly, "my hammer was not made of gold." The fairy went into the water again. The time was returned with a silver hammer, bright of smooth. "Is this yours?" she asked. Again Raymond replied, "No, my hammer was simple iron." For the third time, the fairy went into the river and came back with an old iron hammer. Raymond's face light up with joy. Yes, that is my hammer, he said happily. The reward, the fairy smiled brightly. I am very pleased with your honesty, she said. Many people would lie for gold or silver, but you spoke the truth. She placed all three hammers in Raymond's hands. Take them all, she said. The gold and silver hammers are your reward for being honest. Raymond fell to the knee of the gratitude. Thank you, my lady. I will always remain honest. He promised. The fairy disappeared and the river flowed quietly once again. A new life. Raymond returned home and told Sita everything. Tears of joy filled her eyes with the gold and silver hammers. Raymond sold some tools and opened a bigger shop. Soon his farm spread across nearby village. People came from far away, not just for his skill but for his honest nature. Raymond all poor people gave food to the hungry and taught his child and the valuable trust. He often told them, wealth cannot last, but honesty stay forever. The lesson for the village. Years later, Rahman became one of the most respected men in the village. Even become rich, he never changed. The village learned is an important lesson from his life. The honest goldsmith, a new taste of history. As time passed, Rahman workshop became the most trusted place in the region. King, merchants, and the travelers all brought their gold to him. Despite the growing wealth, Rahman lived simply and never allowed pride to enter his heart. One day, a rich merchant arrived from the distant city. He, he wore expensive clothes and he spoke proudly. I heard here of your honesty, the merchant said. I want you to make a nickel from this gold. He placed a heavy pecan bag of gold on the table and left. Rahman carefully weighed the gold and locked it safely. After the nickel was finished, he realized something. Surprised, the merchant had given more gold than needed. Raimondo thought, no one will ever know if I will keep a little. But his heart refused the idea. When the merchant returned, Rahman said, sir, you gave me extra gold. This is your. The merchant was shocked. Many goldsmiths would never stole it, he said. He paid Rahman extra money and spread his name. Even future jailers reward. Never everyone was happy with Rahman's success. Some greedy goldsmith in this village become jealous. He earned too much respect. They whispered, let us taste his honesty. They went in the village head and the accused Rahman of the cheating customers. The village head called Rahman and said, tomorrow you must prove your honesty in front of everyone. Rahman felt hard, but He stay calm, trust needs no fear, he replied. The public test. The next day, the village gathered. A man gave Rahman a piece of gold and asked him to make a ring. Rahman wore carefully and returned the ring alone with the extra leftover gold. The jealous goldsmith was silent. Then the old woman came forward. This man once repaired my broken bangle and the refused payment because I was poor, she said. One by one, people spoke in Rahman's favor. The village head stood up and said, Rahman is the most honest man among us. The jealous goldsmith felt ashamed. Rahman final lesson. That evening, Rahman called his children and said, Rahman, remember this always gold, silver, and wealth can disappear, but honesty is the treasure that never fades. He, he later built a small school to teach poor children and trained your goldsmith, teaching them skill and honesty. Rahman lived a long, peaceful life respected by all. Rahman Honesty soon became famous beyond village and towns. One day, reached the royal palace. The king, who wished to find truly honest people for his court, decided to test Rahman himself. Distinguished as a poor traveler, the king visited Rahman's workshop. His clothes were old and his voice was sounded tired. Can you fix this broken ring? The traveler asked, placing a ring on the table. Rahman examined it carefully. Yes, but this ring is contain pure gold. You should be careful wherever you go. The traveler smiled secretly and laughed. When Rahman repaired the ring, he noticed a rare gem hidden inside the bundle. It is extremely valuable. Rahman said to himself, this does not belong to me. Trust about temptation. When the traveler returned, Rahman handed him the ring and said, Sir, there was a precious stone inside your ring. I have kept it safe. The traveler eyes filled with surprise. You could have kept it, he said. No one would have no. Rahman replied calmly, God would have no. The traveler smiled and revealed his true identity. The villagers gasped as a king stood before them. The king said loudly, Rahman, your honesty has passed every test. He offered Rahman a position royal goldsmith with wealth, land, and honor. Rahman bowed respectfully, my lord. I will serve honesty, but please allow me to help my village too. The king agreed. A life of service. Rahman moved to the capital, but often returned to the village. He built well, helped poor and the craftsmen, and the ensured fair prices and the gold workshop. At a place He trained young artist, uh, artisan, reminding them your hands shape gold, but your character shapes your future. Even the king trusted Rahman more than anyone else. The last day, years passed. Rahman grew old. One evening, he sat by the same river where he noticed lost his hammer. His children sat beside him. He smiled, said softly, "That river tested me, but honesty saved me." As the sun, Rahman closed his eyes peacefully, leaving behind not gold but a legacy of the trust.